I'm not against economic growth itself, unlike some other people, but I think economic growth has been very narrowly understood. I mean, it has to be a sustainable one, not just environmentally, but also economically, because a lot of economic growth in the recent period in many developing countries have been based on primary commodities and things like minerals and oil and so on. I mean, of course, even growth coming from those natural resources is useful when, especially, you are talking about very poor countries, but this cannot be sustained. I mean, you need to help these countries develop capabilities to generate their own technologies, generate their own viable enterprises, generate their own institutions. And I think in helping these countries to do that, the international community should create an environment in which these countries are allowed to do things that are more suitable to their needs and abilities than what outsiders, some wise men body sitting in the United Nations, wherever, think should be the right policies for everyone. I think, of course, you need some minimum global standard, but you should allow as much freedom as possible to, well, basically accommodate the fact that there are 150 developing countries, all with different requirements and needs and abilities and goals. And unfortunately, in the last few decades, the global policy environment has become less and less tolerant. So everyone is supposed to use best practice institutions, everyone's supposed to use best practice policies, which really narrow the options open for these countries. And this kind of one-size-fits-all kind of approach doesn't really work for different countries. Well, I think the Millennium Development Goals have been very helpful in focusing people's mind on achieving the minimum that are necessary for sustainable development. However, I think we need to do a lot more. I mean, because maybe partly because I had to create this minimum consensus that everyone would accept. The Millennium Development Goals have been very narrowly defined. So it was mainly about education, health, and basic needs. We now need to talk about employment and unemployment. We need to talk about developing productive capabilities. We need to talk about inequality. We need to put more emphasis on environmental sustainability. So I hope the next stage, the Sustainable Development Goals, will include the goals that incorporate these new dimensions, which will go beyond the Millennium Development Goals and create a better world for us.